Beneath the bright lights of Las Vegas, down there on that famous boulevard known as the Strip, a most unlikely group of women is doing something utterly contrary to the city's proud nickname, Sin City.
You guys want to pray? Right now, God, I just ask that you use all of us as a tool, Lord, that you can help us spot some girls that need some help, Lord.
It's midnight, and the women, specifically these two right here, are known as the Hookers for Jesus. You heard right.
Jesus loves you.
Along with a pair of volunteers from a nearby church, they're on the streets looking for prostitutes with one goal in mind: to save them. We keep our cameras at a distance as they hand out gift bags filled with Bibles.
Hey, girls! Gifts for you. Take them, take them. Listen, I think you're beautiful.
Thank you.
And I used to be a bad girl. So I just want to let you know that I used to live here, I was here in Vegas working and stuff. And I just want to let you know God loves you.
As sales jobs go, selling religion to women of the night isn't for the faint of heart. But Annie Lobert isn't exactly your average missionary.
I want to reach them. I know what it's like to be where they are. I know what it's like to be with the pimp and not being able to come home because you don't have enough money. And
before she was a so-called hooker for Jesus, Lobert was, to put it delicately, a hooker. Starting as a teenager, she sold her body through escort services, websites, and on the streets of Las Vegas for 11 years.
What has made it possible for you to change your life so drastically?
You know, God is what changed my life.
From the pew of a church she now considers a second home, Lobert described the moment that her life changed.
And one night I was just so desperate. I was telling God I hated him. I hate you. Look what you did to my life. And I actually overdosed on cocaine. I had started smoking it at this point. Living in my car. Just the very lowest point of my entire life. Just hitting rock bottom. And I took a hit of it. I didn't mean to try to commit suicide, but it just kind of happened. And I had a heart attack. And I just remember everything turning black. Just completely fading to black. And just this total emptiness. And there was nobody there. And I said, Jesus, please help me. I'm alone, please help me. And my heart was just beating out of my chest. And
she began to turn her life around and formed Hookers for Jesus to help save other women and bring them into the church as well.
But with God, come on somebody, all things are possible.
Pastor Benny Perez leads the only church in town that seemed to fit.
What's a nice pastor like you doing with a flock like this?
For me, this is what pastoring is about. I got up and I said in our church, I said, we're gonna reach out, and we're partnering with hookersforjesus.net. When I said Hookers for Jesus, I mean, the reaction is some people are like, did he just say hookers in church? And that was the beginning, I think, of our church having awareness. We're in Las Vegas. This is Sin City.
It all sounds so easy. A beautiful former prostitute as a messenger for God, along with her spirited young pastor. The truth of how it all happens isn't so pretty.
sex for sale is an addiction.
We sat down with a group of former prostitutes, some who left the life just weeks ago, with help from Annie.
And what happened was my pimp had broke my jaw, and I was on my way to go back to him.
This woman, who wants to be called Tammy, didn't want her face shown because she's still afraid of her pimp. She told us about the night she says Annie saved her.
And she would call me from the payphone every 30 minutes all night. And then the next morning she came and got me, and we prayed and we talked and we got something to eat. And I was just really shocked and really surprised that here is someone that had been through what I've been through and did what I did.
The world throws us away, and so we have nowhere to go. There's nothing like the peace that you get knowing that you had a creator, and knowing that because of what you've done, it doesn't define the rest of your life.
Leaving the game, as they call it, usually means taking a beating from a pimp and giving up all the money, clothes, and worldly possessions they have.
This is the living quarters up here.
To help, Pastor Perez and his church have donated this house as a first stop for prostitutes trying to escape their old lives.
What is this house?
Well, it's a destiny house. We are starting this house for girls to come out of the industry, and there's a place for them to actually run to, get them here, and then from here we can figure out what their next move is.
Outside the house, Annie and the church are also there to help, but that doesn't mean life is easy.
Your mommy's a good cook, huh?
Stephanie, who we met on the streets looking for other prostitutes, lives in this tiny apartment with her 3-year-old daughter and 3-month-old son.
If I didn't have Annie in the church behind me, you know, keeping me accountable, you know, telling me it's going to be okay and, you know, you don't need to go back, I'd have went back a long time ago. A long time ago.
Really?
Yeah.
It's that hard?
It is. I'm tempted every day. I was tempted last night. You know, I seen a couple guys, you know, walking by themselves, looking at me. I was like, ooh, he looked like he got some money. I went from making $1,500, $2,000, you know, $2,500 a day, you know, in just a few hours to making $8.50 an hour. Like, that's, what, like 50, 60 bucks a day? But, I mean, it's not worth going back. It's not worth losing the self-respect that I've gained from it.
There's a lot of shame associated with being a prostitute. You feel really dirty. You feel like someone's going to find out. I kept my lifestyle very secretive. I never let my family know, my friends know, anything.
Afraid no more, on a recent Saturday night in church, the women must have thought this one of their stranger weekend escapades. And, just maybe, their most important.
How many of you felt condemned?
After all the men, beatings, and fear, this night was like a visit to another world. And that calling card of their old lives, the feeling of shame, was forgotten, at least for a while. Remember Tammy? That's her with Pastor Perez.
In Jesus' name, he's going to help you. Here comes the peace. Watch. Ready? The truth and the life. And I accept him right now.
Do you think what you're doing now, is this your life's calling?
Yes, absolutely. This is what I was meant to do.
Here I am, worshiping you.
They are still daughters. They are still sisters. They're human. They're real. They're not some rejected tramp or some rejected leper that can't be loved.
God, open our eyes.
Women of the night, in from the street and looking for a second chance. I'm Neil Karlinski for Nightline in Las Vegas.